I learned a lot about leadership from my father. I learned that you honor the people that work for you. It's not about ordering them around. It's about showing them what you want to have accomplished and then allowing them to figure out how to do it the best way.
Well, my parents would be just thrilled, and they'd be so proud of what he's accomplished. As a child, Ed was very focused, and he was almost single-minded in what he loved. He loved anything that had to do with building things, with art, with construction.
My father insisted, we're engineering young man, we're going to put a man on the moon. And so I knew I was going to go to engineering. Stanford had an excellent engineering school. And they also had mechanical engineering. It's basically product design. Same prerequisites as architecture. And I was recruited by a fraternity and joined the fraternity. My Stanford life did revolve around the fraternity more than anything. Roger and Martha were such close friends all the way through. Roger was a fraternity brother, and Martha was his girlfriend from early on.
He was just always a lot of fun, and I think the thing that struck me is the twinkle in his eye. People with twinkles in their eye, they're always fun.
My brother was the best man in their wedding, and vice versa.
And he's still our best man.
My landlord had a crazy lot on Corinthian Island, so steep that it seemed impossible to build on. The neighbors thought I was nuts and picketed all the meetings I went to.
I went to a planning commission meeting in Tiburon where it was, and before I got the chance to speak, there was this young man who got up and was trying to convince the planning commission that he could build a house on an unbuildable lot, and he in fact convinced him, and he convinced me that he'd be a pretty interesting guy to have join us.
I bumped into him at the bar where we were celebrating this great victory, and he said, "You were at the planning commission tonight?" And I said, "Yes, I was." Well, he said, "That was a great presentation. Why don't you come in and talk to me?"
And so I brought him on, and the rest is history. He's been a tremendous partner to this firm, one of the great leaders of the firm, and a great friend. About 55 years ago, we started this firm with $200 and one opportunity, and have built it to the largest firm in the world. So I'm very proud of that, but I'm really most proud of the people that we've assembled around us.
Most important thing to understand about teams is everybody has different strengths, and you need the amalgam of everybody's talent. And everybody has to respect everyone else and respect what they contribute.
I've been with the firm for 38 years. And when I first started with the firm, Ed was running the LA office. And I met Ed and was immediately struck by his incredible, innovative, strategic thinking, how he thought about the world and the future of the world. And he immediately took me under his wing.
I believe that design is one of the most powerful performance tools for an organization you can possibly give them. But you can't tell a client that. You have to show them. We were doing the Delta Airlines terminal at LAX.
I was 25 years old. I just started with the firm. And Ed came over to me and tapped me on the shoulder to say, "Andy, why don't you take a shot at designing this airport?" And I said, "Ed, I've never designed an airport before." And he said, "That's okay. Because if you're focused on innovation, you're focused on what great design can do for the experience of a passenger, you'll be able to design one."
So we walked into the airport, a couple of us with clipboards, interviewing passengers. Story I heard over and over. "I've been on the beach for a week with my honey. We are tanned and lovely. We get on the plane, we have a couple of umbrella drinks. We get a little drowsy on the way in. We land, we get off the plane." In those days, the ceilings were very low and very flat. They had mercury vapor lights, which is a very bluish light. I got off the plane and I looked at my girlfriend. She looked like a cadaver. So I said, "All right, I can fix that."
So I worked 2 all-nighters in a row and came back and showed Ed a bunch of the different designs that I had created. And Ed immediately was taken to one of the designs and said, you know what? You're going to present this to the client. And as a 25-year-old new employee of the firm, I had the opportunity to present to the chairman of the board of Delta Airlines a new concept for a terminal. The terminal still exists today and has won many, many awards. And that's the kind of leadership that Ed instills. He trusts you. He embodies the idea to go for big ideas, to go for big challenges, to solve big, hairy problems in the world. And with that, you can accomplish anything.
Probably my favorite project of all time, the Wilshire Palisades building in Santa Monica. Sits up on the bluffs overlooking Pacific Ocean. The client was Lawrence Welk. The main wall looking at the ocean faces southwest, worst possible exposure. And Lawrence Welk says, the only thing you've got to do is make this building so that the $1 million view, I don't have to have the drapes drawn every day. I was able to turn the building 45 degrees to the compass rose, so you could have the drapes open all year round and still see the ocean. Lawrence Welk moved in. He was ecstatic. To this day, that building commands the highest rent in the LA basin and still has a waiting list to get in.
Ed is such an innovative thinker. He has changed the face of real estate and design in the world. He's made such a huge, profound difference to people's lives. He was always ahead of his time, and he so deserves this honor and award because he is an icon in the industry.
I started when there were 20 people. When I became president, there were 600 people in 8 offices. 8 years later, when I retired, there were 2,400 people in 25 offices all around the world.
Ed and I met 6 years ago, so we are a late life union, and it's been fantastic.
So Margaret accuses me of being persistent. Yeah, I was persistent, and thank God I was. It's been the most wonderful relationship I could ever imagine.
When I first met Ed, he was very engaging, easy to talk to, very courteous, and a likable guy. But I'd have to say I didn't think he was my kind of person.
She stood me up the first time we were supposed to meet because she'd gone through and read my profile again, realized I was a Republican and she's a Democrat. And she said, oh, I can't go out with a Republican. Well, I kept telling her I'm malleable.
He had asked me, have you ever ridden on a motorcycle? I was 67 years old, and I said, no, but sure, I'll give it a try. It was the most thrilling, fulfilling thing I think I had experienced. We'd done 5 countries in Europe, I on the back of a motorcycle.
It is one of the most romantic relationships. They treat each other so well. There's a joyfulness in everything they do. They take care of each other's kids and grandkids, and it's really family.
Family is very important to Ed. He just thinks the world of his kids and his grandkids.
I love my kids so much. They are my closest buddies. I'm so lucky to have run into Don and Susan Clark. Again, right place, right time. I was introduced to Don when I first moved to Reno, and we just hit it off.
He was looking how to get involved, and he was already getting involved with trying to help a trolley get created and a bunch of other things, and he'd only been there a few months.
And so I started with a very casual conversation, kind of introducing him to the concepts. I wasn't 5 minutes into it, and he was just on it, wanting to know more, deeper, and in no time at all, he had an incredible understanding of exactly what we were trying to do.
It's going to be 2,200 residential units, about 600,000 feet of Class A office space. We will build the tallest building in Reno, 40 stories, and it is by far the most sustainable thing I've ever worked on.
This field doesn't always have people who really care about the folks around them as much. And every day I feel as if he makes it better for everybody. And I just want to thank him for that.
Ed, I am so proud of you for this award. There's no one person in the world that I think deserves this award more than you to be in the Hall of Fame at Stanford. You have accomplished so much in your unbelievable career. And the best part about it is yes, you've made a tremendous difference in the design world. You've made a tremendous difference in the profession. But most importantly, you've made a difference in people's lives.
I've always been proud to think your brother who used to build the little toothpick roller coasters when we were growing up has gone to where he was running the largest architectural firm in the world. I think that's an incredible accomplishment.
Congratulations, Ed. This is a wonderful and well-deserved honor. You have performed great work, and you're a wonderful person, and you give back to your community. What more can you ask for?
His long career in architecture and planning and construction make him just an ideal candidate for this honor, and we're really happy to be part of this wonderful celebration.
I'm very not only proud of him, but also grateful that he is able at this point in his life to get this kind of recognition.
I was pretty fearless. I did what came natural, what I'd learned working in the bakery, watching my father. I want to be remembered as a role model for the values that I hold. The same way that I remember my father for the way he treated people. Do you tell the truth? Do you value other people's truths? Do you live with those values through your life? I always did. I've lived a wonderful life. It's been so much fun.